Okay, that's Candice's pose from when she's defeated, so she's down already. Robert's the only one left. He has his briefcase. Come on. Alright, it's that time of the week again. It's Bleach Saturday, which means it's time for another live reaction. This week we'll be taking a look at episode 23 of the 1000 Year Blood War arc, titled Marching Out the Zombies 2. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what to expect from this episode. I mean, obviously I know to some degree what's coming, all praise our Lord and Saviour Pepe, but there are a lot of unknowns, most of which surround a potential extension of Byakuya's battle against Robert, Nanana, and Candice. Are we finally going to learn Robert's shrift this week? It's definitely possible, even if precedent is against us in the anime. I'm also optimistic about the way this episode might pan out in general. As I predicted last week in my review, I hope, that this week's episode will just end with chapter 597, leading into the cut content of Yhwach's invasion into the royal palace, meaning we might have 3 full episodes dedicated to the battle with the Zero Division yet to come. That would be really nice. But that's me getting ahead of myself. For now, it's time to check out episode 23 and what is likely the end of the battles in the Seirete. After 10 episodes, the second Quincy invasion is about to come to a close. So let's see how they do. As always, I'll be watching the episode from the perspective of someone who has read the whole of the 1000 Year Blood War arc, so expect potential spoilers for the entirety of the arc as we watch this week's episode. Remember to hit subscribe for more Bleach videos like this every single week, and give it a thumbs up when you're done if you enjoyed it. But for now, let's watch episode 23 of the 1000 Year Blood War, Marching Out the Zombies 2. Okay, so as with last week, we're starting with a reused scene, but this does make sense because this is the first scene of chapter 592, so it actually works here, which is good. I'm kind of expecting them to just blow through this whole Hitsugaya scene, I've got to be honest. I just think they're going to blast through the end of this Mayuri versus Giselle battle. Even though this is probably the best part of the fight. Oh damn, that stab looked kind of brutal. Hopefully they are going to get across how just kind of cold and skilled this version of Hitsugaya actually is. Yeah, see, I love Yumachika about to use the true name of his Zanpakuto as well. Okay, so that's exactly the sort of thing I wanted to see from this character. Just completely decimating Yumachika without even a second thought. It looks very effective in motion. The art is good again this week, I think. I think we're in for another good one. The way the subs had phrased Mayuri's line there about Hitsugaya made it seem like he was actually dead. Giselle's face. Charlotte's about to get completely wrecked. It's kind of interesting that Hitsugaya even lets him get this far and doesn't just cut him down immediately. Yeah, the animation's good this week. There's a lot of... Damn. Wow. That looks really quite grave. That's... I never really realised the full scope of that kind of netting shield that Mayuri summons there. I mean, it's massive. See, already we are basically at the end of 592. Yeah, as I suspected, they're not going to take too long with this. And to be fair, that's okay with me, as I'm more interested in what comes next. But I hope they do the actual Mayuri versus Hitsugaya fight justice. We're going to be hearing that line a lot. Whoa, this music's kind of crazy. Emphasizing the just kind of insanity of this situation. Really going to let Mayuri just let loose. That's a cooler title. There's the shot I have a feeling we're going to see that shot a few more times. Again, this music's cool. Mayuri going full Spider-Man. This music is very dramatic. It's blaring. It's cool. I like it. Oh, I did not realize that Mayuri's sensor was like some creepy organic being. Although it makes sense. Oh, I like that it's like a bunch of eyeballs, and that's how it is able to predict his strikes, because they're all watching the sword fight. That's cool. I like that. That's a nice little detail. It is kind of crazy, like, how Mayuri just... Even though Mayuri technically loses these fights, he has won already, and it's just unbelievable how fast he's able to take out a captain. Oh, that's cool. I love that Hitsugaya's bankai completely renders Mayuri's Zanpakuto useless. I think it does do that in the original chapter, but it's not quite as easy to see. That's really cool. And again, that kind of shows you how fast Hitsugaya could technically win a fight. Yeah, this is going to be really cool, I think. The way they just keep flashing back to that scene. It's going to be very... It was effective already in the original chapter, but I think it's going to be really effective here. That looks amazing. They gave Hitsugaya's bankai activation that time a better showing than Kubo did in the original chapter. I really liked seeing the massive dragon wings, like, flapping. That was a really cool little detail. But again, like, we're kind of almost done with this already. That immediate flashback to this original scene. That's very well done. Mayuri's voice actor is loving this. That's great. Oh, Mayuri doing his best Asnod impression with his eyes there. It was kind of over as fast as I expected it to be, but I think it was handled pretty well. Their actual showdown was quite good. It really does hammer home just how quickly Mayuri could defeat someone, even of Hitsugaya's caliber, if he wanted to. But at the same time, it also shows you how fast Hitsugaya could defeat another captain as well, if he was actually given the chance. The extremely pronounced black outline really reminds me of how the animation looked during the Waco Mundo arc. Only in that single shot, otherwise it doesn't look anything like it, but... Oh wow, Mayuri's face. He is devious in this episode. And Hitsugaya collapses. And that's basically it. Oh, that's sinister. That's a really cool shot. So, I mean, this is basically over now. And I think it was pretty good. I kind of expected. I think, again, I predicted this last week that they would fly through this sequence in like the first 5 minutes or so. And I mean, that has kind of happened. That's kind of all they really needed for it. And like I said, I am more interested in what comes next. But like the way they're drawing Mayuri here, all that sort of thing is absolutely brilliant. Like, he looks fantastic. It's all playing out pretty well. Very faithful to the original chapter. I mean, that's awesome, seeing Ashisogi Jizo's face just coming out of the Zanpakuto as he activates Shikai like that. Really, that's really cool. But yeah, on the whole, I think they handled the end of this fight pretty well. I think it was really cool seeing Hitsugaya just totally annihilate Ikkaku and Yumichika. Yumichika especially just gets wrecked. And I think they conveyed that really effectively, actually. Also, Hitsugaya's voice actor is about to pop off. Yeah, there we go. I mean, that's a crazy scream. Obviously, it immediately makes me think of when Aizen makes him stab Hinamori. This music's really cool as well. There's a few new tracks in this episode. Again, it's very kind of sinister. Even though I don't think we're going to see this fight. But it is very cool seeing these zombies appear. No, see, this is the end. This is the end of the kind of first part of 594. And we're about to get to the stuff I'm very excited to see. Here we go. Oh, man. Come on. Come on. Give me something good. I'm really looking forward to this. If there's... See, okay, so the card is Byakuya's bankai. That's interesting. Are they defeated? No, I don't think they're not. Here comes Robert. Yes! Come on. Candice is attacking as well. This looks incredible. Nanana's using morphine pattern. We're not going to get his shrift? Okay. I mean, I know we know his shrift anyway. His bow and arrow looks great there. I love that it fires like 3 arrows out of each circle. Okay, is that Nanana taken out? Candice has run out of energy. That's interesting. Okay, that's Candice's pose from when she's defeated, so she's down already. Robert's the only one left. He has his briefcase. Come on. I like his Volshindig. Oh, that's interesting. I love that he is terrified. I love that he's using Sclaverai. I love... Come on, give me a shrift. I love that he's terrified. He's getting a freaking mask. Okay, he's incredibly, incredibly quick. It could be the near, the nimble, or my original prediction, which was always the navigate. I love that Robert is the one who's, like, fighting for the longest amount of time. He looks really cool. His bullets are in... Oh, man, it's definitely over. Come on. Come on. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's done. I mean, I... There's a lot going on right now. Wow, Robert got wrecked in comparison to the source material. Like, he looks like he's dead. He actually looks dead there. And you know what was interesting as well? There's a lot going on. But what was interesting is that when he screamed about how he was going to join His Majesty, that was the exact same image from chapter 603 when he gets, you know, when his fate occurs. So... I wonder if they're maybe not going to include that scene. Why would they reuse the exact same shot of his face? But I mean, they have to use that scene because I was kind of expecting if he was going to get an extended fight scene, which he did, which I'm so... Wow, he's completely wrecked. He's been slashed to pieces. I love that Nanana just hit the wall and was taken out. Yeah, Robert hasn't had his name splash screen yet, so presumably they're saving it for that scene from chapter 603. Oh, man. I mean, I'm a mess of emotions right now. I love that they gave us a new fight scene. That looked so amazing, but how do we still not have his shrift? I feel like there has to be a reason for it at this point. There has to be an actual reason why they are not revealing the missing shrifts. But it's very obvious that it's something to do with super speed. No other Sternritter can do that. Are they playing Shinji's music for Pepe? That's hilarious if they are. I appreciate I've missed loads, but that fight was the thing I was really looking forward to, and there's quite a bit to say. I love that Nanana used morphine pattern, and I think it was negated by the Oken clothing, which is cool. That gives a decent reason for why Nanana was actually taken out so easily. Yeah, they are. They're using Shinji's... Everyone loved this theme for Shinji, and now it's being used for the Love Guru character. This is all happening very fast. I mean, it's very similar to the source material, but it does kind of feel like they're blowing through this. See, obviously we've lost a lot of Pepe's scenes. A lot of Pepe's scenes have been removed. As I mentioned in my last video, my battle analysis of this fight. So you do lose some of that context that everyone kind of is very uncomfortable around this guy. What was I saying about that new fight? So no shrift. There has to be a reason for it now. Oh wow, they've cut out a fair bit of Pepe's speech. Oh man, I can't wait to rewatch that. It was so good when Candice was clashing with Byakuya. Oh yeah, she runs out of energy. Is that a kind of reference to the fact that she has only recently learned Volstendish, as we find out when it activates with Giselle's back when Bambietta was fighting? Possibly. There's so much to talk about. Pepe's Reiatsu is not as pink as I was expecting. The laser version of the Love Kiss looks really cool. Also, that was cool as well. But the animation is like quite good this week, which is good. I'm happy about that. I mean, the fight looked amazing. You know, there's that part of me that's... I love how sinister Pepe looks when he... Because this, as I mentioned in my analysis, this is my favorite part of the fight, basically. Pepe's voice actor is like just like perfectly annoying for this character. But with that twinge of being sinister as well. There's a lot to talk about. You know, there's that part of me that's like, I'm so grateful we got that extra fight. But at the same time, I'm like, I would have probably rather had seen more of that and they kind of got rid of some of Pepe's fight, to be totally honest. Robert looked so awesome with his like mask on and stuff. And he was moving obviously extraordinarily quickly. So clearly the anime team have been told what his shrift is. There is, of course, one more opportunity for them to reveal it. Oh, I love... Okay, Love Kiss just exploding on the Oken clothing is really good. That's a great addition, as it actually makes it a little bit clearer as to why it's not working. Oh, God, here it comes. Oh, God, here it comes. I mean, it looks like it does in the source material. I'm as innocent as a baby. Oh, God, look at him. But then Love Rope, you know, it's actually quite a powerful ability. And Byakuya's in a little bit of trouble here. It's absolutely hilarious that they're playing Shinji's music during this. Oh, there you go. So, you know, what's kind of interesting to me is I feel like Pepe is more obviously a joke in the anime than he was in the source material. We're already on to chapter 596, so this episode might end where I thought it might. Oh, man. And Robert got an expanded Volstendish. It's a shame that Nana didn't get to expand on his, and we didn't get a name for it either or anything like that. I'm kind of surprised that Nana just wasn't using it, since the other two were. Kind of would have made sense to. I like that we saw his bow. We do actually see his bow in the source material when he shoots a certain somebody later on. But that was a cool look at it. I liked it. That was neat. Yeah, Pepe, I feel like, comes across as just a bit more of a joke. Also, that really highlights... Because the episode is moving very quickly, I think. That's interesting that they are flashing back to Mayuri defeating Giselle without actually designating it as a flashback. There's something about it as well. There's something about this that works slightly better here, I think. The fact that we just saw Mayuri's fight in the same episode. Doesn't feel quite so intrusive on the Pepe versus Byakuya fight. I really appreciate getting that extended fight, but like seeing how Robert was squaring up to Byakuya, it just makes me wish we'd seen a bit more of that, to be honest. And I loved how his bullet was like made of reishi, and it was the color of his Volsten dish. So was it like a new attack? But it was just cut in half by one of Byakuya's bankai petals. That was cool. But the fact that Byakuya had to use bankai against Robert, I think is kind of telling of how skilled that character actually is, even if he doesn't get a chance to show it. Personally, I thought Byakuya was always using bankai in this scene anyway, because there's an early shot in the big double-page spread of the two sides clashing. Byakuya's using his hand to command it, so I thought he was always using bankai, but there you go. This is cool. I like this sinister soundtrack for the defeat of Giselle. This is one of those episodes where there's a lot to talk about, because that new sequence was quite sizable. You know what? Say what you will about Pepe, but his Volsten dish, the wings look pretty awesome, actually. I like the colour a lot. Oh, he just got sent flying again. Kensei's using bankai. Again, that adds a little bit of credibility to Pepe, because Kensei is absolutely not using bankai in this scene in the original chapter. Oh, the animation on Pepe getting beaten up is so good. Somebody really doesn't like this character. But yeah, Kensei's using bankai. That's actually kind of cool. I like that a lot. I feel like the fact we had even less build up to Pepe in the anime means that his impact is even more. Why are we seeing Pepe's butt? They'll give us Pepe's butt, but they won't give us Robert Shrift. I love how ominous Lil Toto is, though. Oh yeah, that's cool. This is awesome. Wow, Lil Toto looks really creepy there. I love that you can't see her face. Perfect. That's perfect. Wow, and she sounds really mad as well. That's great. The animation's really good in this sequence. The art is fantastic. Wow, that's a super abrupt ending. That's such an abrupt ending to the episode. That was cool, though. That was... Wow. Bit of a mixed bag, I think. Mostly good. The new fight was obviously just fantastic. I wonder what the inspiration is behind giving Robert the face mask thing. That was cool. That was really cool. So it must be the Near, the Nimble, the Navigate. My original prediction from, 3 years ago now, I created a shrift for Robert, the Navigate, where it was basically his shrift allows him to immediately identify, teleport to, and exploit his opponent's blind spots, which was why he was able to get immediately behind Kyoraku and then blast him in the face. It was why he was able to get immediately next to Ichigo without him realizing and put a gun to his head. And later on, spoilers, I know I said spoilers earlier on as well, but he immediately gets beside Lil Toto and puts a gun to her head as well. So I kind of just put all that together, and that was the shrift I came up with. But it could just be down to super speed. His Volstende Grimaniel, which we did already have the name of, means the walk of God or God's step, so it's clearly something to do with moving fast. Maybe we'll learn them at some point. I have no idea why the anime seems to have almost gone out of its way, particularly with Robert. There's a scene at the end. It's Royal Palace stuff from chapter 588. This is exactly what I said was going to happen, and I'm very, very pleased about this. I don't want to get my hopes too high, but there's so much I want to see from next week and the following 2 weeks. Okay, so it's the end of 588, and the very beginning of 589. So that's kind of cool. And the poem is presumably Oetsu from the volume. Yeah, volume 66. Oh, man. Next week should be really exciting. Episode 24, Too Early to Win, Too Late to Know. Yes, that is so awesome. Chapter 599, this is just a random piece of trivia that you don't need to know, but chapter 599 has one of my favourite chapter titles, if not my favourite chapter title in the entire series. Just realised the sun was cutting across my face. That's very annoying. But yeah, chapter 599 is one of my favourite chapter titles in all of Bleach. I know that's pretty nerdy, but Too Early to Win, Too Late to Know is such a great chapter title. It's too early for the fight to be over yet. You know, the good guys haven't won yet. It's way too early to win. But they've realised too late. You know, it's too late for them to know. Obviously referencing the fall of the Royal Palace, basically. I am very, very excited for the next, basically, basically the last stretch, 24, 25, 26. Oh man. You know, it's interesting because the anime has not given us Shrifts K and N, but the anime has been pretty good, I would say, about expanded fight scenes. So I'm just really hoping for the Royal Guard versus the Schutzstaffel. I got big hopes, and there is still a chance to get Robert Schrift probably next week based on chapter counts. Yeah, next week, I'd imagine. Unless they've cut that scene, which is why they used that shot of him screaming in this week's episode. But I did love that they did that because, again, Robert is getting really freaked out by the fact that Yhwach has left for the Royal Palace. That adds a nice little bit to his character. I feel like they have to leave that scene in next week, otherwise there's no context for why he's freaking out so much, so I imagine we probably will see it. But I mean, you know, Robert looks way more injured here than he does in the source material. Admittedly, we can't see him as well in the source material, but here he's all sliced up by Byakuya's bankai, and you know, Royal Palace Byakuya's bankai, that must be a pretty serious thing to deal with. But yeah, that's really it for the episode. Well, it's not. There's loads more to talk about. You know, Mayuri versus Giselle. I think, again, it was basically what I expected from it. It was kind of blown through. But that's really all it needed. You know, the Mayuri versus Hitsugaya fight was handled really well, I think. The animation was great this week. Byakuya versus Pepe was kind of, again, they went very quickly. It was one of those instances where there were things cut and there was nothing added. But I don't think there really needed to be. And there wasn't that much cut either. Pepe's Volston dish, I mean, as soon as that was revealed, the anime went ham with him being a total joke character, which I think is fine. You know, you can't really expect anything more from him anymore, I don't think. But like the actual Reiatsu was a nice colour. It all looked pretty good. And then his actual death, which to be honest is probably the best part of that fight outside of the cool little moment in the middle with him and Byakuya, was really awesome. Lil Toto, again, is a Sternritter who has benefited a lot from the anime, I think, and she just looked fantastic in that final sequence. So, yeah, a lot to talk about, a lot to process this week, but I really liked it. I'm so excited for what's to come in the future, and I think, on the whole, that was really well done. I really appreciated them giving us a new fight, which I'll dive into a little bit more in the review, but yeah, on the whole, really, really great stuff. So, I like this week's episode a lot, guys. I thought it was probably better than last week's episode. There was just a little bit more of interest happening this week, I think. Not to say Mayuri versus Giselle isn't a decent fight, because it is, but I've just been really looking forward to seeing what they do with what happens in this week. So, yeah, that's it from me this time, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the reaction and the episode. Let me know, of course, your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think of episode 23? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Do please let me know, did you enjoy the new extended battle between Byakuya and the Sternritter? What do you think of the ending to Mayuri versus Giselle? And of course, what do you think of Byakuya versus our Lord and Saviour, Pepe Wakabarara, who is no longer around, unfortunately. But yeah, that's it from me and this reaction, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it once again. Until next time, I'll catch you later, and I'll see you then. Did we really need to see Pepe's butt? That's an image that's going to haunt me now for ages.